Hey everyone, and welcome back. So it's been a while that we haven't done one of these channel updates or, what's going on type of videos. And first things first, I do want to say, don't worry, most of the changes coming to the channel are very positive. So this is not a video of gloom and doom or anything like that. It's actually just to make sure that everyone's on the same page here and that you know what's going on with the channel. So now that we have the worry out of the way, the second thing I do want to address really quickly is that if you haven't seen any videos over the last week and a half to 2 weeks, nothing major happened. I was just gone on a family vacation. Now, I've talked about this in multiple streams, but I know not all of you watch the streams. So if you were wondering what was happening, that is simply the reason. And if it feels weird that I took a family vacation just after the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, well, just to let you know, this was booked back in November of 2024 when we didn't even know when the Switch 2 was releasing, and hotels were booked, tickets were bought. It was just impossible to change the dates at this point in time. And at the same time, I do think it was beneficial because after a couple of really busy weeks with the launch and all that, it gave me a few days to really rest and focus on just having fun with the kids, my wife, and everyone else. I'll be honest though, I did miss all of you and I did miss making content, but I decided early on in the vacation that I was really not going to focus on any channel stuff for that week, simply because I've tried to do it in the past and I didn't like the quality of the content that comes out while I'm on vacation in a hotel room trying to film something, trying to edit something together with just a couple of hours here and there. It just turns out quality wise, like I just don't like it. So now with that quick stuff out of the way, let's get into what this video is really about, which is a couple of changes coming to the channel. But as I said, I think these are all very positive changes, and you can always let me know in the comments down below what you think about them. I'll also be giving a little bit of explanation of why I've decided to change certain things, but don't worry, it's nothing major. I would say the biggest change we're going to talk about today is the way we do the giveaways, but it's beneficial for the viewers. You're gonna see I've thought about it over a little while, and I think this is going to be really a better way of doing everything together, and actually is going to open some new doors in the way I do things. So first, I wanted to start with an update to the general content on the channel. When I'm talking about general content, I mean now with the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, you might be wondering how are the videos going to evolve. And although, once again, I've talked a little bit about this on stream and also sometimes at the beginning of the videos, once again, I know not all of you listen to the intros. I know not all of you watch the streams, and that's perfectly fine. So I wanted to go over it really quickly in today's video. So obviously with the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, we're sort of at a crossroads right now, where some games are releasing on Switch 2, some on Switch 1, and some on both consoles. But basically how I see things going over the next little while is there won't be separate deal videos or separate new upcoming game videos for the Switch 1 and Switch 2. Why? Because simply there isn't enough things to merit a separate Switch 2 video for the moment. So if we take eShop deals for one, what I've decided to do, and I've already done it in one past video, and I think it turned out pretty good, is that when we do the deals, I will mention a separate Switch 2 section, most likely towards the beginning of the video, and then we'll be jumping into a Switch 1 section. But visually, you'll also see always at the top right of the screen, either the Switch 1 symbol, the Switch 2 symbol, or in some rare occasions, both symbols. So they're sort of like what happened for No Man's Sky when it went on sale. There are two separate versions, one for Switch 1 and Switch 2. Both were on sale, so both symbols were at the top right. So at a glance, you can see which system the game was released for. That being said, don't forget that almost every Switch 1 game also runs on the Switch 2. And a vast majority of them actually now run better on the Switch 2, with a minor amount of them having certain visual glitches or things like that. But overall, what that means is that even though you see the Switch 1 symbol, if you are among those who have already upgraded to a Switch 2, these are all going to be massive deals, and in some cases, you're going to be getting a very, very different experience than the release on the Switch 1. One game I can talk about really quickly is Darksiders 3. runs beautifully on the Switch 2 when it was running like garbage on the Switch 1. But that's a separate subject for a separate video. We're going to get into that. I do have content based on that coming up soon. And while we're on the subject of that, I want you all to know that you should expect also a more varied smorgasbord of content coming up. So rather than only being deal videos and new upcoming Switch videos, you're most likely going to see a mix of reviews, reactions to different announcements, covering some upcoming news, like when a game gets announced, something big gets announced, playing through a demo, something like that. I do want to do a more varied type of content over the next little while. Which doesn't mean there will be less deal videos. There most likely will be the same amount. I'm still aiming at 2 videos minimum a week, with always a possibility for a third one. But I do want to do other types of content as well, especially hardware reviews is something that's upcoming as well. So for the moment, that is the big announcement for the videos. It will be a combined video for Switch 1 and 2, but obviously keep an eye out, because over time, as soon as the quantity merits it, you might see separate videos popping up. So if eventually you see a video and it's really titled like new upcoming Switch 2 games, that's because if at one point we have, I don't know, 6, 7 new Switch 2 games and 5, 6 new Switch 1 games, well, obviously at that point, I'll make separate videos. Both merit their own video. And I think for the audience, it'll be easier to pick up on just the content you want. So now we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the biggest change, which will be in the way we do giveaways. So currently, if you weren't aware, I give away a $10 eShop gift card, what's supposed to be every week. And that's actually what we're going to be addressing in the change. Based on a random comment that's selected in any of the videos on the channel. So whether you're watching a deals video, a review, even a comment on a VOD, you are eligible to win that gift card. And basically, I selected at random a comment from those videos. The problem is not everyone watches every video, and you know what? That is perfectly fine. And that's actually what we're going to be addressing today, because the way I was announcing the winner was in the regular deals video. But if you commented in a review video, maybe you're not watching the deals videos. If you're watching the under $5 videos because you really only want the best budget deals, you're maybe not watching the regular deals video. So what I realized over time is that when winners were pulled from other videos, they often wouldn't claim their cards because they probably aren't watching the video where I announced the winner. And although in an ideal world, I would love it if everyone watched every bit of content I put out, I know that the reality is that's not the case, and you shouldn't be completely disadvantaged by that situation. So rather than announcing the winner from now on, in the regular deals video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be announcing it in a community post every Wednesday. And that's also going to address the weekly issue, because the problem also is that sometimes the eShop deals videos could be slightly delayed. So rather than being a winner every week, it often turned into a winner every week and a half, because basically we would have to wait for the regular eShop deals video to come out, so forth. You get the gist of it. By doing a giveaway every Wednesday, completely detached from whether there's a deal video on that day or not, that guarantees that we're getting a weekly winner. And by it being in a community post, well, that means that if you're subscribed to the channel and you're checking regularly the community posts, you will be able to see if you won the gift card. On top of it, you'll know it's every Wednesday. So every Wednesday, I would say at 10 p.m. By then, the winner will definitely be announced. So I don't know about all of you, but to me at least, this feels like a really positive change, making things way more fair for people who watch different kinds of content and not just advantaging those that watch the deal videos. Now, if you're watching this and you are a loyal viewer who watches all the content and you're like, well, I feel disadvantaged because why, the people who only maybe watch one little bit of content but subscribe to the channel nonetheless get a chance at winning the gift card or whatnot. Well, look at it this way. You're allowed to one entry per video. If you're watching all the videos and you're commenting on each video, you're automatically going to have way more chances at winning than someone who comments in one and only video. So over time, it will nonetheless be way to your advantage if you're watching all the content and you're really, participating actively in dropping comments in each and every video. But wait, there's a second and even better reason why I want to now announce giveaway winners in community posts. And that's simply because in the near future, I most likely will occasionally be getting review codes that I can give away for different games that I'm covering on the channel. Because right now, the only way I had to give away codes was during streams, and that's perfectly fine. But we have a very small community of people watching the streams, and I would like people who watch the videos on the specific content to also have a chance at winning these codes. So from now on, if I put out a piece of content and I announce in the video that we'll be doing a giveaway for a code for the game, I'll be basically also specifying that it'll be announced in a community post on a specific day, and you'll know right away when to look to see if you won that code. I think once again, it's a way fairer way of doing the giveaways that will hit a much wider audience than before. So that was pretty much it for the changes for today. Like I said, nothing scary, nothing negative, but just things that I wanted to clearly state for anyone who watches the channel on a regular basis. Now, let me know in the comments down below what you think about these changes. Don't forget, as usual, to hit that like button, subscribe if you aren't already, and click on the notification bell. And as usual, I really hope I'll see you in my next video.